of you here today have baked a cake before? Okay, well today I'm gonna teach you how to bake a cake. So whenever we're getting started, we're going to gather the ingredients up. You go to the store, buy any kind of cake mix, cake brand you want, like Betty Crocker or Pillsbury or anything of that nature. And you get the cake mix, you get the ½ gallon of milk, eggs, icing, sprinkles, whatever is optional. The sprinkles are optional, but everything else you kind of need for the cake. You want vegetable oil, and you can get the non-stick pan for the pan if you want to do that, or you could just sift the pan, it doesn't really matter. So then, once you get all the ingredients and you get home, you're going to want to put all of the ingredients out, set everything out, get everything ready. You're going to want to measure everything out with the water, the vegetable oil, how many sprinkles you want to use, how many eggs you're going to use. You're going to want to set those out. Then you're going to want to, before you preheat the oven, you're going to want to center the racks in the oven so that way you don't burn your hands. You're going to want to check it, make sure there's nothing already in the oven. So you're going to want to preheat the oven to 400 degrees, at least 20 minutes or so ahead of the time that you're going to want to bake the cake. The next thing that you would need to do is put all the ingredients together. So you're going to want to mix the cake batter together. Excuse me. So you're going to pour the cake mix into the bowl, and then use 1/4 of vegetable oil, 1 cup of water. You're going to want to crack 3 eggs on top of everything, and then you're going to want to mix it all together. You can either use a mixer to mix these things, or you can use a spoon. It doesn't really matter, whatever helps you. So once that's finished, you're going to want to spray the non-stick on the pan, and then you're going to want to pour it in it doesn't matter if it's a circular pan, a square pan, whatever you want to use. It depends on how many minutes you're going to want to bake the cake for. So after that's all finished, you're going to put the cake in the oven. You're going to want to put it around the middle or so it gets the right amount of heat and everything like that. And then you're going to want to set the timer for about 30 minutes or however long it takes to bake the cake with the circular or the square. And once the cake is done, it's been 30 minutes, your time's up, you're going to want to pull it out and you're going to test it with a toothpick. So once you test it with a toothpick, if it comes out clean, it's finished, it's done. If it doesn't, you got to put it back in there for a little bit longer. After that, this is optional. Some people don't like icing cakes, some other people do, but you can icing the cake, and I would let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes before you icing it, because if not, it'll get everywhere and it'll tear up the top of the cake. It'll spread so much easier if it's 10 minutes later. But you're going to want to warm up the icing in the microwave for about 10 seconds or so because it gets a little bit cold. So that way it can go on a lot easier. And once the cake is cooled, you start applying the icing around the edges and then work it towards the middle. And then at the very end, you add the sprinkles on top if you want to. And that is about it with the cake and the baking. But baking a cake is very simple, but I think everyone should learn it. It's a skill. Everyone needs to know how to bake. And that is all I have for you today.